former of which you looked a little bit underwhelming, actually, on the map of Gibraltar, right? IDDQ looking very, very strong. And I hear tell Hollywood is a very strong map for them also.
Well, and we'll find out. I mean, we've had so many epic games between Fnatic and Melty on Hollywood. You know, it's really anyone's game, but, you know, with the way that IDDQ have been playing, I wouldn't be surprised to see them taking a 2-0 Melty. They have to... I don't know what it is. And maybe it's the meta, maybe just because they haven't been able to practice as much, but they just aren't playing the Melty that we've known them to be, and it's caused them to lose, you know, Ghost Gamers 3, now potentially this, and the winner of this will potentially go on to play against Reunited.
Yeah, so, I mean, up against Reunited, these teams are all pretty familiar with each other here as well. Yep. I think it was, Reinforcer was saying in chat, actually, I think it was when it was Reunited versus IDDQ, I think IDDQ just held like super, super well. I don't even think Fnatic got past the first point, so I could be wrong. You have to correct me in chat there. Either way, IDDQ are going to be starting on the defensive side here, so maybe we get to see a little bit of their famed defensive prowess on this particular map, and to see what exactly they're going to be rolling out with here at this stage as teams are still preparing their lineups. And obviously the defensive side have to sort of solidify their lineups straight away if they want to get in position as early as possible, so we'll have a little bit to talk about. But guys, if you're not familiar with these two teams, Melty is D-Gun, Crew, Bode, Nico, Moon, and Cabal.
Of course, on the side of IDDQ, we've got Ploopy, the man just subbed in for him, Coco, Taimu, Internet Hulk, Chips Hyan, and Never Give Up, who's got the best name ever. I'm assuming he'll be able to reconnect in time.
Yeah, should be fine.
Yeah, should be fine. Still, stuff 40 seconds left to go anyways. But yeah, I want to see how this one kind of plays out. It's been really interesting to see, you know, these new teams, at least in Europe. There isn't one reigning team that's winning everything anymore. It's been more of a kind of balance where anyone can kind of be anyone, though IDDQ has been really starting to step up quite a bit. Flat Earth is even starting to get in there a little bit, being able to beat Reunited. That's the ex-PKD, ex-Planet Key Dynamics guys who came from Dirty Bomb, and before that, even some Battlefield 4. So yeah, it's really good to see these teams in such equal kind of competition going on in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we saw PKD right towards the start, back in our AlphaCast Invitational #1. They lost that tournament, and then we didn't see much of them from a while. So they're now reformed under the name Flat Earth, and they're not here tonight, probably tired out from a long weekend of a bunch of tournaments here and there. But hopefully they'll be back with us fairly soon. But let's see, of course, the defensive lineup. We do see Ploopy on that Reaper, so he really wants to brawl down those tanks as quickly as he can. You can see us sitting back in the corner. So the moment that they get through that doorway, he's going to want to go in and try and finish him off.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're going to kind of just zip in. They're going to go straight into him here. Ploopy's going to have to use that Wraith Thought to get away here. They're not going to be able to pick up the kill off the back. That's so actually really smart use out of him there to just be able to escape. But that could have been deadly for him if they were to burst him down with like a flashbang. They could have actually spelled the death of him. But look at this, coming from the backside. D-Gun able to do some work, but gets caught up under the turrets on Internet Hulk. And he gets taken out. Internet Hulk, actually, funny enough, he was playing the Winston before, but now he switched over to the Symmetra, so showing he's very versatile in his picks. But, oh, this is going to be huge. Ploopy, if he can get him behind them, he could catch him off guard and finish off quite a few people. With Bard already going down, they've lost their sword to 76. That makes things a little bit difficult for them to take this point.
It's pretty clear to see, though, that Melty are expecting something like that. Someone to push up the stairs towards him. Nico is the one who just forced Ploopy away there earlier on. You can see the shield now being used quite a lot by Crew. Just trying to keep himself vital coming forward here. There comes a stun grenade, and Nico makes his way down the stairs. Great Graviton Surge as well, and this could be pretty nasty. It was a clever sound barrier used there by Never Give Up, but it wasn't quite enough to keep his teammate alive. That being said, Internet Hulk really starting to turn up now with a quick double there. Make it 3. Moonell just got completely wrecked by a very slow-moving projectile, and it is a hold here by IDDQD.
How did a Symmetra get a triple kill? What is going on in this game?
I think we saw players push underneath there as well.
It had to be turrets, yeah.
There is a teleporter up now as well, though, Jason.
Yeah, so they're reinforcing him to come in thick and fast. And that makes things even more difficult. Ploopy going to go back to holding this kind of stairway position while Melty just look for their avenue of attack. We do see that was Nico with his Deadeye available to actually go in for this one. But Crew going back to kind of what he knows here. One of the first people we saw in Europe, actually in the back of my mind, who played on the Zarya.
Torbjorn, boys.
Oh, yeah.
The dream chips high and picked up the Torbjorn.
The thing is, you have armor out of him, and you have the shield out of Internet Hulk. That's so much extra HP that you get to work with. That makes things so difficult, especially if you're able to successfully repel that first attack where he gets to put out, multiple different armor packs. It makes it so hard to go for that re-attack. So they're going to need a lot of ultimates online to pull this one off, and they have just that. They have 5 ultimates just waiting on Crews to get up if they want to go for it. The Sound Bear's coming through, and the Deadeyes. This is going to be a big attack here onto this payload. And you can already see, there's a little bit of a confusion here. So so far out of board. He's just not able to decipher what target he wants to go for, and it looks like IDDQD have yet again repelled this attack.
Yeah, it's a really nice hold. Crew and Cabal falling there. Both sat up top and just sort of used the tactical visor, which is fine, but there was a sound barrier popped at one stage there as well. And if I'm not mistaken, maybe Taimu, no, it wasn't Taimu, I think it was Nico did get his ultimate off, but I don't really know if it made too much of a difference. So this is pretty intense. I don't think I've ever seen Melty unable to complete an attacking half. They're being stopped dead in their tracks.
Well, let's see. They expended every ultimate they had last time, but now Taimu has his up. Trips High and has his available. So that makes things even more damn difficult. And if Ploopy's going to get caught out here, potentially, he's able to just barely escape. And the high nuke coming in! He's going to connect onto just 2, but 2 is enough to repel him yet again. And Melty are just going to have to back away and wait for reinforcements. And you also have to keep in mind, look at how the first beta phase played out. When your team got wiped out, what did you do? You ran in, you just died, you got your ultimate charge built up. But with the way it's working now, you don't get ult charge % from taking damage. So if you do lose out on that fight, you need to escape with as many people alive as you possibly can to prevent the enemy team from getting their ultimates.
So you can see now Melty, excuse me, again trying to make a push in. Ploopy again waiting off towards the side. Melty kind of know that they want to go through that other side room, but Ploopy now forced out of position. Well read by Crew, and there comes the Graviton Surge as well, but Coco going to lay down the hammer. It's going to be a counter Earth Shadow though as well. Coco's knocked down, Never Give Up's right towards the back, and D-Gun on his signature Farah. He's up on high, let's see how much damage he can lay down. He's trying to get rid of that turret. He doesn't have barrage left, but he's going to chase down on towards into that Hulk and try and get rid of that Symmetra. She managed to back away at least, but might be a capture here at the very least for Melty. But man, I'll tell you what, it took a long time for them to get it done.
It's not over just yet. The high nuke coming through and catches on the D-Gun, and he's going to drop here. The payload has not been taken, and that Mercy is going to be chased away as well. Board's going to fall down, and they have repelled them. IDDQ are going on the charge. They're taking them down one by one, and they're going to successfully defend with 30 seconds left. It comes down to this Melty on their final attack. Can they pick up this point?
It's almost like the only team that Ploopy's not going to look like a god in is one with Taimu. He has been massive in the last few minutes there as well. And of course his Deadeye, pretty handy ult, I guess if it kills people automatically, it's kind of sweet. But he used it correctly. It's really important. Sometimes it's worth using it just for one person. If it's going to be a pesky Farah, you need to get out the air, then by all means, smash that Q button down and get it done. But now Moon able to force him away. There comes a stun grenade though as well. I think it was a sound barrier that actually kept him coming forward. But Ploopy as well, he's up the back. They've managed to hold so far, and Melty might just run out of gas here, I guess. We see the Earth Shadow being used, but Moon, he's not on the point. It's too late. And I don't believe it. It's IDDQD holding the point. God help me. God help me.
They have done it. They have successfully held off Melty. An internet hook.
I like some of that. I mean, he played really, really well. You saw the double he got. We might see it here. So he had the turret up there. But what's more important is he's throwing those balls in there left, right, and center. I think that's all he's doing. Look, people just walking into them. And that's the thing. You think, that's a pretty weak projectile. It's pretty slow moving. But if no one's looking in your direction and you can just keep spamming them, you will get kills. It does a lot of damage. And, of course, shields are ineffective against it.
All right. So that does now mean IDDQD need to capture that first point alone to win. But now my question comes into, what if both teams fail to capture the first point?
I don't know if we have a...
I don't actually know the rule off the top of my head for that one. I think it's a replay, actually,
really?
If I'm not mistaken. It's a replay of the map. So we'll see if we can potentially get in there, but now knowing IDDQD only need to capture that first point makes things even, I guess, easier, because it gives them a lot more time to play around with comps that they want to work with and see if they can pull something off.
And I think we've seen their Winston play from Internet Hulk, excuse me, has put them in good stead. I think they look very, very strong. Bear in mind, Gibraltar is a pure payload map, okay? So there's no points you need to capture. Obviously, Hollywood's a little bit different. Need to get the point, then you can move the payload along. So we haven't really seen a point capture or point defense scenario between these two teams yet. But if the last map's anything to go on, and of course Gibraltar was pretty convincing win for IDDQD, then they should have not so much trouble managing to shake Melty off for the point. But, I mean, look, that's all speculation here, Jason. That's essentially, what Sprite Guy does. Not so much theory crafting. We're here to see exactly how it works. So,
well, let's see the line that IDDQD might potentially go with. I mean, pretty standard. Just to remind you guys at home, we are doing a 1 hero limit tournament. Blizzard did implement all these little features into the game, so we figured might as well just try them out, see how they do work, because obviously Blizzard do want to get some feedback on how these kind of work in a competitive sense. So, we're seeing, it looks like pretty standard out of IDDQD. But Melty, look at D-Gun. Is he going to showcase here a new hero for us?
Yeah, I mean, it might be the first time we've seen that one tonight. And again, like we were saying, Jason, you're not charging up people's ultimate bars just by dealing damage. So now Junkrat actually becomes a lot more viable. He's not actually feeding ultimates. He's now doing damage, and it can be quite significant. here as he shows us off his little spray. So, I mean, Bod going to be playing that Symmetra. Seen him do it a few times. I mean, and I used to think Melty was all about Hollywood, and that was their map, but I don't know anymore. Things may have changed. The landscape of this very, very early Overwatch competitive scene has shifted.
I wonder if Numbani's still Reunited's map of choice, because that's the map they always did go for. But we might potentially see that in the grand finals, as we're still waiting to see what two teams do get through. And with IDDQ with a one-map lead, this could be them doing it now. Can Melty defend this point and take it to a replay of this map and a chance into a third map?
So again, time movement. Pluppy going to be combining on those damage heroes. Pluppy again wanting to try and get up close and personal with that Reaper. It's going to be a little bit hard for him at the moment with the shield up in front of him. And he wanted to try and break through on his own, but he realized his team wasn't exactly there. So we'll see him continue to look for some sort of opening here. You don't want to eat those Symmetra balls, that's for sure. So he's not the only one doing it.
Alright, well, you can see IDDQ more than happy to just take their time on this push, which could be the final one of the game. Melty, a lot of pressure on their shoulders, some decent damage being done from the backside there. Able to catch them completely off guard. Can he pick up more of this? This should not happen. How is Deco able to get all these free kills?
They didn't notice him go towards the back, and he managed to go towards potentially the most important player on the side of IDDQ, and of course that was that Zenyatta. Once we saw the kill come in towards Chips high end, then he was managed to turn around and go towards everyone else, because you'll notice that Sonny never give up there as well, and he needs line of sight to provide healing, so you can get in and do some assassination. Nico playing his McCree like a lot of players will play a Genji at this stage.
Alright, so still a lot of time on the clock to work on. They're still sticking to the combination. They kind of line up here. D-Gun though, able to rain in some damage from the low ground, actually, able to help break that shield. But now this is where it gets really dangerous from. Oh no, he's using that right in front of him. Internet Hulk is not able to actually absorb the damage, and he's going to connect on absolutely nothing because he's been taken down. At this point, it's under contention. Can IDDQ do it here? Moon, Crow, can you guys hold on to this one? Is time coming in with it? Did that just to force them away? The checkpoint is starting to finally get captured over.
Very, very quick stuff here from IDDQ. This could be over. This match could already be done at 2-0 for IDDQ. I know they're strong, and we know they're strong, but this strong, their Hollywood is absolutely ferocious, and the GG's already coming out. They will have to capture. They will knock Melty out of our first Community Cup and move towards the grand final.
As you saw, what they did there most importantly was they got on top of the point, right? They got the initial capture of it, and then they went straight in their faces, right? They forced them to not have an avenue to get easy back into that actual position. It made it then, so they had to kind of run through the enemy team and bought them a lot of time. Got the checkpoint, and they got the victory.
And that is going to be GG here. Melty again have to succumb yet again in a 2-0.